Hey movie fans! We just went out and saw Despicable Me 4. Check this movie out in the movie theaters this long opening weekend for the movie. Haven't seen any box office numbers yet, so I'd be curious to check those out. But did want to kind of tell you about the Despicable Me 4 movie experience that we had. So here it goes. Did you like the Minions?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you like the super mega Minions? The
Yeah.
superpowers? Which one had the best superpower?
I don't know.
The stretchy guy?
The laser guy.
Yeah.
I like the baby in it. It was cute and funny.
If you go see Despicable Me 4, what I liked about it was they were being so bad at saving that they had to retire. And with the one with the big laser on its head was like in a bunch of, like lasering a bunch of cheese. And so it lasered a cheese into into melted cheese and then skied down it.
My one-word review of Despicable Me 4, groovy. Groovy? Groovy.
Emphasis on groove.
Well, watching this movie, we definitely had a fun time. It's always just so fun to go to the theater, your popcorn, your drinks. This kind of movie, I really feel like the point is to go and to hear children laughing, right? To see the kids enjoying it. I remember when I watched Inside Out 2, hearing a bunch of laughter during the Despicable Me 4 trailer, usually dealing with the Minions. And so I was excited for that with this movie. There definitely were spots where that was happening, but honestly, I was a little underwhelmed. I thought there would have been a little bit more of it. The movie in and of itself, I would not say was very great. The Rotten Tomato score on it is like a 53%. But what was really surprising to me, well, and that to me I thought was accurate. You know, critics-wise, that's pretty much there. But a movie like this, you kind of want to base it on the audience score. And the audience score of Despicable Me 4, at least at this point, is a 90%. Yeah, you heard me right. 90%. That is super high. So that being said, which I didn't know going into it, I was expecting and wanting to hear that, and I just didn't feel like there was as much of it as I wanted. And there could have been a few reasons for it. One that I kept having throughout the movie was, if you're trying to be funny all the time, it kind of stops being funny some of the time. There were moments that I felt like they were really trying for laughter and pushing for laughter. Well, not moments, like continuously. There were efforts being made to be funny to where like many of the jokes weren't falling and they weren't landing. And I think a lot of that's because there was a lack of balance with story. Watching this movie, my daughter said it, I think actually during the trailer when we watched it before, but it was just so true of the movie watching experience. It really was just like Fear in Inside Out when he's watching the dreams. You know, he's like on dream duty or whatever. And Fear goes,
Boo! Pick a plot line!
and yeah, it was just so all over the place to where there was, you know, too much scattered storyline, that there wasn't any clear direction, and like not having a really clear main storyline or sticking with that. Also, I think hurt the humor a little bit to where it could have been more funny if there was more balance there rather than just trying to be funny all the time throughout it. So yeah, the 90% Rotten Tomato score really surprises me from audiences, because that to me says, well, yeah, we understand this is a kid movie. It's geared towards kids. It's meant to just make kids laugh and to have fun. But I just didn't think that it delivered that as well as it should have. Better than the third movie? Yeah, probably. The third movie for me, really rough. And the tomato meter score, both on the critics and the audience side, with that movie reflected that. But yeah, there's a line in the third movie I just thought was so funny, because Gru's like with his brother or whatever, and he's like riding this really bumpy ride, and he says, "I am not enjoying this." And that was how I felt about that movie. I was not enjoying it. This one, yeah, I say it's an improvement, more enjoyable, but still just didn't quite get it for me. I would definitely not put it in a 90%. I know what that means, but yeah. I would think that it would probably reflect more like a 75%, basing it on knowledge that this is geared for kids, and for the most part they'll probably think it's pretty fun and have a good time. But yeah, there's a line in this movie where Gru says, "That was kind of disturbing." and then his wife says, "Yeah, a little bit." And sadly that kind of reflected moments of this movie for me where it just wasn't doing it, wasn't clicking there. So I really think that the strength of Despicable Me and this series really came from the three daughters, and I don't know why they haven't been more front and center. I get that the minions are where all the laughs come from, but I just feel like in the last couple movies for sure that the storyline with the three girls has just not been prominent enough to where they are the central focus and they are the feature of the feature. So I don't know. I think that would make a big difference for me. Tons of slapstick comedy, like over and over and over again. There were at least 3 times, maybe 4 times, where somebody's face went into glass, and I just remember thinking, like, after that, like, 4th time, like, did nobody realize that you've already done this? Like, if this is the 4th time, like, maybe we should think of something else to do with that. But yeah, no, that's not the kind of movie you're in for when you go to Despicable Me 4. So I don't know. All in all, not my favorite, not a high choice for me. Still worth it to hear the kids and for the young kids to have a fun experience at the movies. So yeah, if that's the situation, totally worth going for it. If it's just you as an adult wanting to go watch a movie, or maybe even just a teenager gonna watch a movie, yeah, you'll get a lot more out of Inside Out too, for sure. But anyways, thanks for checking this out, everybody. Stay safe out there. Hope you had a great holiday weekend with the 4th of July, Independence Day. Good time here in America. But stay safe out there. Don't text and drive. Hope you have a good one.